Okay, hello all, and welcome to the second part of this short series of quality assurance engineering. And this is why Q stands for quality. Two for the second video. I'm George Grigoropoulos. This is my LinkedIn. If you want to see a few things more about me, and today's question that I'm going to attempt to answer is. Perhaps even more important than the first video, and is why care, or in extension, who cares? And the why is perhaps one of the most important, questions, right? And why care is something, a question that someone is going to ask um, before seeing even if the QA department has already started in the company, they will still someone is gonna still ask it. Why care for quality assurance engineering? Um, why care for quality at all? And this is a question that you might get from any software company that it's happily running for years without a specific QA team, or having having some unit tests being written by developers, considering that this is, for example, enough. And the why is something that it's the first question that you will need to answer to a professional event that you're meeting other people who are might be stakeholders to software companies, and is why care about why care about this profession, why spend resources on an entire new department that doesn't actually seem, seemingly doesn't seem to build anything, that doesn't directly bring value. And and who cares so much about quality, someone even might say, right? Because if you deliver, you deliver. Some people have this kind of perspective. And uh, let's go here first of all to our friend from Matrix, the Merovingian. And he says that why is the only real source of power. And this is completely true, right? You might have seen several times Confluence pages or Jira tickets or documentation that clearly states how you're going to do some task. Sometimes it states perhaps what needs to be done, what are their acceptance criteria, and as we all know, sometimes it might be a little bit vague. But what you can easily summarize, and you can leave the what a little bit vague after all, is why. Why, of course, is much more difficult, because if you're gonna write in every task the why, you need to actually connect it to some business goals or goals of the team that have been set from the beginning of the year, for example, or from a meeting you had a few months ago. And you always need to connect to that, to connect to some principles and be consistent. And this is even more difficult, right? Because when you're saying, when you're expressing the what, it's easy to say, what needs to be built. One, two, three, four things need to be built. And how? This is how we're going to technically do it. But the why is the difficult part. But it goes a long way, because if you bind the requirements with a why, then people are going to understand why they're building something, and all of these holes are gonna fill. All of these holes in the requirements are gonna automatically fill, because we're all looking at the same principles. The why will never be. You can be half a paragraph, like very short, and but still contain very, very valuable information. Regarding the why, okay, this was about the importance of why in general. But let's first of all be honest with ourselves as QAs and ask what I have there at the title. Why people care first for speed and then for quality? I mean, you have seen QA engineers that explain, and QA leads and QA managers that explain that QA has these benefits and blah blah blah, etc. But how honest are we that how actually people perceive it, and why do they care first for speed? Why speed comes first? We have you have the regular triangle that you have the speed, the quality, and the low cost that you're trying to achieve. But how are you gonna balance those three? And people so care for low cost first. Okay, this is the most obvious and easy to understand. They care for speed and then they care for quality. But why do they care for speed so much? And also quality, you could say, that brings results. You can have many answers to that. I'm only going to give something that I find a very basic and very simple answer, and it's that because in business, that all it matters is timing. It's timing. We want this now, not yesterday, not tomorrow. And let me give you an extreme example. This Nokia mobile phone that is very famous. In the 1900s, it's going to be too soon. People not understanding why is this device. Even if you had the infrastructure, but just take people, from 1900s, and it's too soon. Nobody would buy it then. Today, nobody would buy it either. Okay, this is an extreme example, but if you think a little bit, anything that you do, it matters today. It will not matter so much tomorrow, and it wouldn't matter 10 years ago, perhaps. Um, and this is very true, and this is why people care and businesses care for speed and then for quality. Then it comes that. The quality part, because if we deliver, the point is that the timing of delivery might be very very important. You might deliver that something that's very buggy, but you were the first, for example. So it does the work at some extent. It will attract the early adopters. So yeah, timing. So by being honest, by starting like that and being honest to someone who's a stakeholder and who needs to manage resources and quality. If you ask them like that, you will spend resources on quality and a whole department of QA engineers. You need to be honest with them that that speed still matters and matters a lot before explaining about why QA matters. So in the next slide here, we have that who cares about quality. So here I have three people, three, let's say, agents through three different perspectives. And the first one who really, really, really cares about quality is the customer, the end user. Uh, so you have nowadays, if you consider mobile applications or kind of any device, you have very a few seconds, a few seconds, few opportunities to cover his or her desired needs. And in the software world, you're gonna do it in every tap and every click that he does. You're not gonna do it only in the before the product where the marketing is engaged. You're not gonna do it only in the when he first uses it. On every tap, on every click. Um, you the customer expects something to be of high quality with any perspective that you can imagine. And also, post purchase, for example, uh, post that the action that he desired, that the result was met. Even after in order to keep him and maintain him as a customer, to include him in the product that you have built, and you need to win him by maintaining the quality, because he's always ready to try another solution, which is the second bullet here. And he has, friends, network, people, posts online, Google search engine, uh, many things to try another solutions. And nowadays, since I'm recording this, that chat GPT has come, is new to the world. You're gonna have also chatbots to offer alternative solutions, and you're you're gonna be even more exposed, right? And the third bullet is also very, very, very important, that the customer does not care how much you love your product, because we have all seen it, internal presentations inside the companies, that managers are claiming of how much they love their product. Okay, like that the product is doing good, in order to, and this is rightfully so, because you want you to keep the team and everyone to emphasize on the positives. But the customer doesn't know about all these things. The customer might, they never met you, for example. They have interacted with you through a screen. They don't really care at all. They will hold you responsible for anything that is being involved. I mean, whatever you do. I mean, even if your product is only a medium to another service out there, and that connects you with, for example, mechanics to fix your car, and the car is not well fixed, they might blame your medium for not helping them, for example, right? So they don't care how much you love your product, your service, and they will, and they just want your help. Actually, they want the product to work, and the customer will never be satisfied. He or she wants 100% quality. He doesn't want 99%. He wants 100%, and maybe the customer wants. He sees the value as it is now, but as he's used to this, he finds it less and less satisfying. So actually, he wants what he perceives today as 100% quality. In a year from now, he's going to perceive it as 80% quality. So you need to, again, to improve your product and service, and try to reach this 100%. However, the other perspective now, the business. Let me move here myself so you can see it better. Yeah. So high quality product is defined if it is profitable and covers the business goals, makes the product, for example, more famous, makes it competitive, etc. And the business wants as much quality as is necessary for achieving the goals. Might be 90% or only 10%. So what we're expressing here is that the the business will never be able to satisfy all the customers 100%. So we'll never. This is 100% quality is a utopia. This will never, never, never be reached. Uh, Imagine like having like a thousand or hundreds of thousands of users, and everyone claiming that they have 100% quality of of this product. Unless this was very something very, very trivial, like printing the hello world, that uh, anything above that, you will never be able to achieve 100% quality. And business knows that, and business has goals, and it's to manage resources. And basically, the business, the the fruitful and most important discussion between the QA team and the business is where do we want to hold this threshold? Because the QA can actually, a great QA team can adapt, how much in depth is gonna check a product. So, so the work of a QA is adaptable actually, and along with the business and the QA, gradually business and QA understand that uh, like 60% might be enough. We're losing, but in order to maintain the speed and work with the current resources, 60% might be enough to even have a business that it thrives. If you ask people how much they're satisfied, for example, from Facebook, it's not going to be much larger than that, the percentage. Or for example, from airlines, it's similar. And so this means that you set the threshold, and the threshold it's pretty much tailor made. It might be different in different time periods, and also tailor made for each business, right? Some business might have people for whatever reason they are addicted to their product, right? And with very low quality of product, they might be successful. Or other kind of businesses, they might have a very very demanding audience, and they need to have a product that's like 95% of quality. It really depends. And then you have who else cares about the quality? I actually have the engineers themselves, right? You need to take care of the software team, because the technologies that are being used are new, because this is of high quality. I mean, if you ask an engineer, work with I don't know, with Perl or COBOL or I don't know, or assembly, or and you're asking him or her with these kind of technologies to build a modern website, for example. This is like like the technologies are the tools, right, of the engineer. The engineer wants to have the best tools and work with the best available tools, um, because it really doesn't make sense. No, in no other um, because this is how it works. Like if you want to, again, to bring an example of if you're gonna go and fix your car, you're not gonna see there many engineers having a screwdriver. You're gonna see large machines lifting up the car, for example, just to make it easier, not have the engineer dive under the car, right? Um, you want the technology, you want the tools. Second bullet, the code is clean and someone can easily navigate through it and maintain it. So this is about quality, systematic quality. How we maintain the quality and the code reviews, and the code that's being written to be from professionals that have an engineering background, for example, that they people who can self-improve a long time. Because even if at the time the technologies that were being used were good, but having a bad way of building a bad architecture, for example, can bring spaghetti code or legacy code, and that's very difficult to maintain. And this is low quality. because the third bullet is like daily hell. Otherwise, if you don't have that, this is a daily hell for engineers, and the engineers sooner or later, like they're going to hear that in some other team somewhere else, things are much better, and the quality of the product is much better. For example, and when engineers, they don't care so much from the perspective of the customer. They don't care from the perspective of the business. They care from the perspective of themselves, right? And they want their daily lives to be awesome, actually, as anyone else, right? But and this is how quality impacts them, and not how. I'm not explaining fully how now, but explaining that they're also the team is also someone to take into account. And again, being honest with ourselves is that these three agents here, customer, business, engineers, um, they're both working together actually, because they're one wants something. The business wants money from customers. Customers wants a good product. Engineers want a good from business, the right tools. Um, Engineers perhaps also wish from customers to appreciate their work, etc. But all of them, they're both collaborating, but also competing for quality. Because as we said, if you imagine to satisfy the bullets of each one, if you want to satisfy fully the bullets of the customer, or fully the bullets of the business, or fully the bullets of the engineers, you're actually pulling resources from the others. If the You understand that, right? The If the engineer wanted the best tools, then it's like demanding from the customers. You pay a lot, and business like you make them pay, uh, like you convince them, for example, for that, or uh, everyone has like is competing for this quality. And if you take this into account, and really, 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 really think about this in your strategy, this will shift your perspective. Think about it, and you will see that if you try to make your next strategy about quality, it will not be the same. If you take this slide alone. And now let's also give another answer about why the QA department at all, why have it separate. As we said, you might have alternatives, right? You might have backend developers who are writing unit tests. You might have front-end developers who are writing unit tests. And the designers might have someone who is reviewing their design. The product manager might review their design. The product managers themselves, let's say, it's been checked by the CEO, the CTO, or the VP of the product. Um, a project manager might be, there might be formulas who are checking that. So the customer care and support, again, their work can be, let's say, tested, for example. Um, so you might have, little unit tests, kind of internal tests inside every team, or someone might, hold someone accountable, or try to hold accountable the deliverable of the work. But imagine that all of them are doing their works, and they're doing it good, right? Let's say they're doing a very good work. But imagine that all of them, like the backend developers, they need to solve technical and architectural issues. The product managers want to listen to the customer's needs and planning for the roadmap, etc. The customer support needs to spend time responding to customer needs. All of them have their specific role, and at the end, if you take all of the work of those teams, you have a single product. This is what the customer will see. This is what the customer will experience from all of their work, right? And each of them has to do specific work and has to involve himself or herself with a range of tasks. So basically, the question is like, who is actually using the app? I mean, the product that you built, the service, the product that you built, who is actually like using it? I mean, you delivered something. Who is actually who is actually using it, right? If you say that the customer, the end users, then it's too late. The problem is encountered, and especially if this was non-digital, you has delivered something. You have delivered something, through a courier service to someone at a table, for example. There's no way to fix this. No updates, right? In software engineer, you might be able to update it, but might be too late. You might have lost the customer already. So, so it's too late. When the bug is encountered. So the point is like, someone, please, yes, please, use the app before release to the end customers. You need to call them QA, you want to call them quality assurance engineers, you want to call them testers, uh, you know, uh, uh, testing engineers, whatever you want to call them. It's someone, who uses, and a lot of findings, believe me, a lot of findings, usability findings, performance issue findings, battery issue findings if you're delivering for a mobile app, apart from the regular, functional findings and bugs, are all just by using. But all of these people on the left, as you see it here, right? They don't have the luxury of time to actually use it. They say that, okay, I'm gonna use it a little bit, 10 minutes, and this is gonna be enough. No, it's not enough. You want people to use the application and use it a lot and wear the hats of all your possible like customer and user personas. You might have different kinds of customers, let's say, right? That you have pinpointed, and you might have an entire profile or even psychological profile, if I may, for them. Um, and someone needs to wear the hat of that and play the role, just play with the application as much as possible. And now you understand that this has nothing to do with what you call automation, what you call manual testing. This is how you're going to do it. The point is, all of the scenarios that we're writing is for that, just to be able to have someone, a customer, the voice of the customer inside the company before the actual end release. So you have a product that's as close as possible to the end product, and it's testable. And and you have, this is the why. I mean, if you take this why, you're gonna always iterate. I mean, just because someone told you that, if you do automation testing, this is QA, and you're done, and you bind it with a CI/CD, and you're done. But your initial principle is that how we are going to optimize all of the time the resources and the amount of people, like how are we gonna get the best kind of finding, because you might be testing, you might be short-sighted, right? You might be spending like huge amount of resources and have built 2000 automated scenarios, but only be short-sighted to only test, a particular kind of thing, but not look it more holistically. And And this is why I have QA actually. It's like the luxury of time to use to use the app and have people who have also, they know how to bring a good feedback. And so basically, uh, what you have is the why. Since you have the why here, the what needs to be done and the how always follows. And this is really important. I believe the next slide, it has nothing to do. Yes, it's relevant. And so, um, so this was as simple as that, right? Basically, I have three slides for you here. Nothing more, and these three slides will is answering those two questions. Extremely important. You need to put it, whatever final answer you give to these questions, you need to put it on a wall, but also, on a piece of paper that you're ready to tear apart, and, put another piece of paper and reiterate on that, but most importantly, reiterate on the what and the how. And because the why, it's more basic, you're gonna get there more quickly on those principles. So that's all for me. I was George Plioropoulos on this second video, and thank you very much for spending the time for watching this video. And I hope you have gained the most out of it.